In the world of trading, everybody is looking for that edge, right? That one signal that just cuts through all the noise. Well, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating and, yeah, kind of ominous sounding concept that might just do that. It's called max pain. It sounds a little like something out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But what if I told you there's a theoretical price point that pretty much acts like a magnet, and it reveals the collective feeling of thousands of traders all at once? That's exactly the idea we're going to unpack today. So, what on earth is max pain? Okay, in the options market, you've got traders betting on where a price is going to go. They use calls, which are basically bets the price will rise, and puts, which are bets it'll fall. Max pain is the strike price where the absolute most of those bets would expire completely worthless. It's the point of maximum financial loss, or pain, for the people who bought the options, and on the flip side, maximum profit for the people who sold them. It's kind of like the market's financial center of gravity. Now, here's where this whole concept gets really, really interesting. It's when an option's expiration date is right around the corner. We're talking about that final 3-day window. In this short period, the relationship between that max pain price and the current futures price, well, it can give us some seriously powerful clues about what the market is thinking. First up, let's talk about a neutral sentiment. This happens when the futures price is just kind of hovering right around that max pain level. Think of it like a perfectly balanced tug of war. The market is essentially at a stalemate. Neither the bulls nor the bears have enough muscle to pull the price in one clear direction. So why does this happen? Well, it all comes down to incentives. The option writers, we're talking the big institutions, they make the most money when options expire worthless. So you better believe they have a huge interest in seeing the price finish right near that max pain level. When the price is stuck there, it's a huge sign that the market just doesn't have the juice to break away. Okay, now let's look at the bearish side of things. What happens when the max pain price is way above the current futures price? This is a big flashing sign that the bears are in control. They're pulling that market down, way down, and away from that central point of pain. What this is telling us is that a ton of those bullish bets, those call options, are failing miserably. The market is seriously underperforming and the price is way below where all those options are clustered. It's pretty clear bearish pressure is in the driver's seat. And of course, on the flip side, we've got a bullish market. This happens when the max pain price is far below the current futures price. In this picture, the bulls are just completely overpowering the bears, pushing that price way, way above the max pain level. The market is just crushing expectations. See, here it's the bearish bets, the put options that are expiring worthless by the truckload. The price is just soaring past that point of maximum pain. And that tells us that a really strong bullish momentum is the dominant force in the market right now. So that covers the lead up. But you know what? Things get even crazier on expiry day itself. As that clock ticks down to zero, the stakes get way higher. And these signals we've been talking about, they become so much more intense. This is the final showdown. So if the futures price is still clinging tight to that max pain level on expiry day, the interpretation is, you guessed it, still neutral. But here's the difference. Now it's locked in. There's literally no time left for a big move. The market is pinned, and that tug of war officially ends in a draw. The key word here is finality. With just hours to go, there is almost zero chance of a breakout. That incentive for the option writers to keep the price pinned right there, it's at its absolute peak, and it just cements that neutral feeling. But what if the price is miles away from max pain on expiry day? Well, that bearish signal we saw earlier, it gets a massive upgrade. It's no longer just bearish, now it's very bearish, because the time for any kind of recovery has completely run out. This is all about the clock. On the final day, a huge gap like this shows the bears have already won a decisive victory. All those bullish bets are completely worthless, and there is simply no time left on the board for a comeback. Game over. And exactly the same thing happens on the bullish side. If the futures price is soaring high above that max pain level on expiry day, our bullish reading gets a promotion to very bullish. The bulls haven't just won, they've secured a total blowout victory. Again, it's the lack of time that's the deciding factor. All the bearish bets are worthless, the bullish calls are deep in the money, and the market's powerful upward momentum is set in stone. There is just no chance of the price falling back towards that max pain level before the final bell rings. So here is how it all comes together in one nice little package. The big takeaway is just how much that sentiment intensifies on expiry day when the price is far from max pain.
Time, or really, the lack of it, removes all the guesswork. A lean becomes a certainty. A trend becomes a total victory. Only that neutral scenario stays steady.
Okay, so we've gone through the theory, we've looked at the different scenarios, and we've talked about the critical role of time. But how can you actually put this to use? Let's boil this entire concept down into a simple, actionable checklist you can use.
It really just boils down to these 4 simple steps. First, find the max pain level. Second, compare it to the current price. And then, and this is the most important part, factor in the time remaining. That final step, just asking yourself if you're inside that 3-day window or if it's actually expiry day, is what turns this from a simple data point into a really powerful sentiment indicator.
And there you have it, a complete framework for decoding market sentiment using Max Payne. We've walked through all the theory, but the real power, as always, comes from applying it. So the question I'm going to leave you with is this. Now that you know how to look for it, where do you think the market's pain point is right now?